Potential buyers include L'Oreal and the fashion group Louis Vuitton and Moet, Hennessy, or LVMH. The other option, going public with the second portion of shares. Armani died on September 4th. He had no children to inherit his fashion empire, but his life partner and right-hand man both hold 70% of the company voting rights. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. The iconic Eagles varsity jacket that Princess Diana made popular is now back in stock right in time for football season.
That's right. The princess often wore the jacket when she would pick up her sons from school.
So cute.
And since then, right, so classic, it has been a fashion statement people have been trying to recreate. In 2023, sports apparel brand Mitchell & Ness re-released the jacket for the first time since the princess wore it in the 90s, and it sold out immediately. The same thing happened when they did another release in 2024. Well, now it is available again through Mitchell & Ness and Fanatics.com for nearly $400. The jacket held sentimental value to the princess. It was a gift from the late Eagles statistician Jack Edelstein. I love it.
Isn't that so interesting that she had a relationship with the statistician?
A statistician.
It's so cool.
All right, if you're a fan of Spotify, your experience is about to get a lot better.
Oh, goody. Premium subscribers are about to get a new feature called Lossless. The feature drastically improves sound quality on the streaming app, allowing the listener to hear tracks in greater detail. In technical terms, Lossless reduces the audio compression that sometimes compromises the quality of the songs and tracks that you hear.
With lossless audio, listeners can uncover nuances in familiar tracks and rediscover old favorites with unmatched clarity, hearing your music exactly as you intended it.
This is good news because you're paying for that premium.
That's right.
So if you have the Spotify premium, all you have to do is change the settings on your app to get Lossless. It's available on mobile, desktops, and tablets that support Spotify connection.
Lossless. That's a tongue twister.
It is a little bit of a tongue twister. Are you a Spotify person?
Not really.
So I got
honestly.
into it, but it's one of those subscriptions that I go, I also have an iPhone. Shouldn't I be maybe just using the free Apple Music? So maybe this is a way, because I was about to cancel, maybe this is a way to keep people like me
There you go.
involved in it.
Just pay for what you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Moral of the story.
All right. Well, what kind of music is your favorite?
Rap.
Kcal News at 9 starts right now. Really?
This is Kcal News Mornings.
Right now at 9, new developments following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Coming up, we'll talk with an expert about how the moment it happened was shared online and why it's part of a growing issue.
Plus, it's been long understood that women have a higher pain tolerance, but that might be changing. Why experts say females may actually be more sensitive to pain than men. I don't believe
it either, Jamie. And if the afternoon slump has you slogging through your day, well, we have some helpful hints to help you recharge during those midday slumps.
Well, we hope you're having a good morning watching Kcal News Mornings at 9. Today is Friday, September 12th. I'm Jamie Yukas.
And I'm Rachel Kim in for Sheba Turk. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get a first check of our weather with meteorologist Paul Diano because it is the all-important weekend forecast.
Good morning, Paul. I'm loving the weekend forecast there. Also loving, for the most part, the traffic conditions throughout LA. It's definitely Friday light. We're starting off with a look at our next traffic camera in the Sepulveda Pass. You can see southbound traffic is a bit slow, but not as bad as normal. 37 minutes Roscoe over to Sunset. Northbound side of the 405, just 20 minutes from the 105 to the 10 freeway. And looking at the rest of LA, lots of green on the 210, 10, and 60 heading westbound towards downtown. We do have some slowing on the northbound 5, Norwalk Boulevard to the 101. That's 22 minutes there. And southbound side from Dittman to the 605 is a 14-minute drive. Heading over to Orange County, lots of green here as well. The 55 is a bit slow from the 91 to the 405, just a 15-minute commute there, and 16 minutes on the southbound 57, Lambert to the Orange Crush. Leaving you with a look at the Inland Empire. Lots and lots of green here as well. Full speeds on both sides of the 15 through the Cajon Pass. We'll send it back to you.
Robert, thank you. Developing news in the assassination of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. A 22-year-old has been arrested in connection with his murder. Utah's governor said Tyler Robinson had grown political over the past few years and felt that Kirk was full of hatred. The FBI said Robinson climbed a building on the Utah Valley University campus Wednesday, about 200 yards from where Kirk was speaking, and shot him with a high-powered bolt-action rifle. He then ran across the roof, scaled down the building, and hid the rifle in some bushes. The governor revealed some of the writings left on shell casings found at the crime scene.
Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" "Catch!"
The suspect allegedly confessed to his father that he shot Kirk. His father then reported his son to a clergy member who tipped off U.S. Marshals. Authorities have yet to cite a motive in the killing. The graphic video of Charlie Kirk's assassination spread quickly on social media. Now, some kids and teens were even able to see it before any of the imagery could be blurred or edited, which raises questions about online and social media guardrails.
Yeah, Tracy Foster is the co-founder and executive director for Screen Sanity. She's here to talk about the impact of these internet images. And I gotta say, thank you so much for being with us, first of all. But I've had multiple conversations now with people. In full transparency, we as a news organization will get these videos and we look at them, we pause them. There's discussions around how much should be shown, if audio should be used or not. But when I opened my phone, I instantly had multiple angles of him being shot, of him falling. Can you talk a little bit about the uncensored reality we now live in and how the role of gatekeeper it's really not there with social media anymore?
It's really not there. And I think we expect things to be safe, right? So many industries have regulations, exactly what you described with the way that you approach it for the news. There's a human deciding what is appropriate, ethical, healthy for people to be able to see and not see. How can we tell this story without showing things that are really, truly traumatizing? And that just does not exist for social media. Most of the platforms are now putting in some protections a day late. But it's already been seen, and in many cases it wasn't even something that any of our kids or us saw. We might have been watching a video about cozy sweaters for fall, and then we get this emotional whiplash of all of a sudden seeing something truly, truly traumatizing.
Well, and everyone I've talked to has said, I saw it and I did not want to see it. So
and I
think
wish
to
I'd
that
never
point,
seen
yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah, so jarring and traumatic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Tracy.
I was just going to say, I think that's what's so hard, and I can relate to that too. And I even talked with someone yesterday who saw the Charlie Kirk video from one angle and didn't want to see it, and then went on to be pushed footage of the stabbing on the bus. And so what I try to share with people about with social media algorithms is that the social media algorithms are trying to push what can catch your attention. And it's not necessarily, we sometimes think algorithms are driving what we're interested in, but it's also sometimes what we show intrigue in. So in a situation like that, if there's something that comes up that we can't not look at, it then starts to feed us more. I compare it to if you're driving down the road, you're going somewhere, you have something you're actually looking for, but then there's a car accident on the side of the road. Most of us rubberneck. Oh, is everyone okay? What happened? That doesn't mean that we want to be seeing more imagery of car accidents or other types of violent things and blood and gore. However, because it caught our attention, we start going down that way. And that's even if you just start to look, but oftentimes it's fed to us even when we aren't looking for it at all.
Great points, Tracy. Now, naturally, our brains are not meant to take in graphic violence at that rate that we do, as it can lead to, of course, PTSD symptoms and much more. How can we prevent these types of violent acts from becoming so normalized?
First of all, I think that social media companies have a role to play. They are now in the business of providing content to the vast majority of people. They don't have healthy content regulation things. They've removed almost all of their human employees and had it AI based, and I think we're seeing that that's not working. I think there are lots of opportunities for regulation. When we look at this space, one of the fascinating things about social media is, again, I mentioned we expect industries to be safe. That's because if there's a batch of lettuce that causes people to have diarrhea, what happens? It gets recalled.
Yes.
And as terrible as that is, we're taking care of it. Or if a car has a faulty brake, the manufacturer brings it back. In this space, there are no regulations helping to make sure that we're safe. But we see something like in the App Store, it might say TikTok is safe for age 12 plus, but that doesn't actually mean that it's safe for age 12 plus. The most recent regulations around this type of content in social media are from 1998.
Oh,
Wow.
Just to put that in context, that's 5 years before MySpace was created.
wow.
So there is a huge need. Obviously, there are a lot of things that we can do as parents to help protect ourselves and our kids, and that's what we have to do in the meantime while we're waiting. But there's a big void for Congress and big tech to be stepping in to help take responsibility for this.
Okay. Well,
important
it's
conversation.
great information. We could talk to you all morning. Tracy, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
A U.S. Congresswoman is introducing a resolution to authorize Charlie Kirk's body to lie in honor at the U.S. Capitol. Nancy Mace of South Carolina said Kirk inspired millions and never wavered in defense of the First Amendment, so she claims that makes him uniquely worthy of the distinction. If the resolution passes, Kirk's remains would lie in honor at the Capitol Rotunda for a period of time determined by the House Speaker and the Senate President pro tem.
We'd like you to stay with Kcal News for new developments in this case. We'll bring them to you as we get them. And this morning, an investigation is underway into a deadly police shooting in El Monte.
Yeah, officers shot someone last night around 10:30 at a gas station at Garvey and Durfee Avenues. From Kcal, you can see that it looks like police pinned a vehicle in. The person who was shot was on the ground just outside the driver's side of that vehicle. A woman was taken away in an ambulance, but it's not clear if she was injured in the shooting. Investigators say it's still not clear what led to the shooting. Police say none of their officers were injured. 9:09 on your Friday morning, still ahead. Why the conversation surrounding gender and pain tolerance is now changing.